Hello everyone, this is Martin with Steadfast and Orion in Houston. Haven't posted in a while and I apologize about that. To be honest, I've been feeling like we've been letting our customers down a bit, and it's making me feel a little bit uneasy. I feel that we haven't been able to service our customers as well as I would have liked, or I would like. So, I have to dedicate myself to my craft, to the business. But I'm still putting videos out nonetheless. So please bear with me. These are some difficult times, I think, in transportation. And for that matter, I want to talk briefly about our experiences this past weekend. We went to San Antonio to visit some colleagues of ours, to have just a nice little dinner with some colleagues of ours in the Evans network, just to basically talk about what's been going on, how this year has been treating us so far versus last year. We really haven't seen each other much due to due to COVID and the pandemic and what happened last year with everything, and I think it's time now that little by little people start, now that people are starting to go out little by little, I think, people start feeling more comfortable being outdoors or being around people. It's a good time to catch up now, and hopefully things get back to normal one day soon. And it's looking like things are starting to get there, but nonetheless, you can't be too careful. So with that said, we talked a lot about transportation and what's been happening this last year and a half. Last year in March, we all know what happened. Things just took a different turn, and I think we started thinking about everything differently. So what I want to talk about is, one of the things that we talked about in that meeting was, not meeting, the dinner, was I wanted to know where drivers need to be financially. Owner-operators specifically in this matter. Now, I think the common consensus was that a good salary for an owner-operator, I think, is between $120,000 to maybe $160,000, $175,000. And I say $175 because that is a high number to reach. $150 is a little bit more comfortable. At $175, I promise you, you're working very, very, very hard. At $200, even my respects, you live in your truck. Now, that is what, as an owner-operator, leased on to a company, not with your own authority. You'd make a lot more money if you had your own authority, but you also have a lot more risk with insurance and customer. It's a lot. You could do it. I think drivers should one day go that route. But when people go that route, they find out very easily or very quickly that it's not as easy as it seems to be on this side of the transportation industry. So one thing that I thought about was, what happens when a driver calls in? Because this is something that we rarely talk about, and when we talk about it, we don't really express ourselves the way we should, I think. Because a lot of times in the transportation industry, when a truck driver calls in, whether he's a company driver or an owner-operator, but in this specific case, I'm talking about the owner-operator, it's okay, not a problem, but I want you guys to see what financial impact that has on a driver's finances, on his year-to-year basically, or on his yearly finances. Basically, I have two of them written up right here. Let's say you refuse one load a week for 52 weeks straight, because there's 52 weeks in a year. Let's say each average load pays you $250. You refuse or reject, or you don't want to do one load per week. You just, whatever, you want to leave early, you call in, you want to, start late, whatever it is, that's the reason. At $250, that's a $13,000 impact by refusing one load a week per year. Now, if the average load pays you $200 and you still refuse 52 loads a year, one a week, $10,400. is what it impacts you as an owner-operator financially by doing that. And I promise you, you can multiply that when drivers call in once a week. Imagine you do 2 loads. Imagine that you do 2 loads per day, and you call in one day 52 times a year. 1 day a week, basically, you call in. You only work 4 days a week. Double that, because if you're supposed to do 2 round trips a day, at this, that's $26,000 that you're missing out on the year for missing 1 day's worth of work per week the entire year. Same thing here. Imagine you double this. That's $20,800 for missing 1 day per year. 1 day per week throughout the year. 52 days in 1 year, or 52 weeks. 52 days, or 1 load per day per week. Yeah, that's exactly what. That's just on the 2 cookie cutter loads and rates. Imagine you refuse 1 out of town load per week. You guys want me to go there? I'll go there with you guys for just a bit, because in all honesty, I'm here to help people and talk about the trucking industry for what it is and what it isn't. I don't know everything, but we do need to do a better job of explaining things to people on the whys and the why nots and the do's and the don'ts of this industry. Because when you guys have, as a driver, when you guys tell me, hey man, there's no money. Well, you refused the load on Monday, or you didn't come in to work on Friday. Those things honestly impact your own paycheck. There's nobody else has a hand in that but you and you alone. No dispatcher, honestly, I showed you guys the numbers. No dispatcher can substitute $20,000 worth. Because drivers, I promise you, call in a lot in some cases. Now, some drivers are okay working 4 days a week. They have everything paid off, their houses, their cars, their trucks. All they're working on is just not to be at home. They just kind of want to stay busy. Cool, to each their own. But to those guys who are not making that money, who are not there financially yet, I say to you, that's where your money is going. That's why you're not making any money. On top of you refusing loads, you don't come to work. That's a double whammy. I've seen it time and time again. If you really look into your finances and you look at what you miss out throughout the days and throughout the weeks and throughout the years, that's a good chunk of it right there. And I could break down, every dispatch if I want. If I have to, I can. And I can help you as a driver move forward with your finances. Because 9 times out of 10, what happens is the dispatcher is afraid to tell you where you're wrong. I'm not afraid for a driver to tell me where I'm wrong, because when the driver tells me, hey man, you messed up, you should have given me this 20 because of this and this and this and this, I'm like, shit, you're right, I apologize, my bad. Maybe next time I won't make that mistake. But we're going to make mistakes along the way, but we're a team. We grow from one another. We help one another. If you succeed, we succeed. I promise you. There's nothing better in the world than when 2 people do a good job together and they both know that they accomplished it and something successful came of it. It just feels real good. Better than any monetary compensation. I promise you. The feeling that you completed something, good, that you accomplished something, that you finished something, that you set yourself out to do, it's a good feeling. It's a good vibe. And it lets you progress in life. And it lets you do things, maybe next time you take a little bit more of a risk. You're not going to, risk everything, but it's going to be a little bit, you know what, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. And you try new things here and there. And slowly but surely you start maturing and you start getting more experience and more, used to you working around specific equipment. And once you're able to do oversized, you're able to do overweight. When you're able to do overweight, you're able to do oversized. And then you might want to go ahead and do on hazmat. And all that adds up to your money. And I promise you, I always say this to the drivers. You can be a millionaire in 10 years. It's very easy to average $150,000 a year in transportation. Gross, of course. Take home, I promise you, you can still take home very good money after that. So in 10 years, you could be a millionaire. In 20 years, if you do your finances properly, you invest properly, you pay your bills, you pay your debt, things will come your way. I can't explain it. I don't know. I'm not a financial expert by no means. But the transportation industry has a lot of potential, for growth and for making good money. Take advantage of it, especially right now in 2021 when the work is good. Thank you guys for watching.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.